Happy Wednesday, you guys. This is Ms. Rice Connor again, reading Shadows at Jamestown. We're going to read chapter 20 today. Okay, it starts. Caitlin folded the sash and placed it nearly on top of the rest of her costume. She'd picked the oversized bathroom stall for extra room to change. She was about to open the stall door when she heard someone else enter the restroom. Something in the back of her mind told her to wait. So she stepped backward and listened. Someone was talking quietly on a phone. "I know," the voice whispered. "The timing is terrible. What are we going to do?" Caitlin froze as she recognized Grace's voice echoing faintly off the bathroom tiles. She didn't know what to do. Could Grace really be a suspect? Carefully, she climbed up onto the toilet, silently perching herself out of sight. Her costume clutched lightly between her chest and her knees. "There's just no time," Caitlin continued to whisper. She was pacing back and forth, and Caitlin held her breath each time the footsteps tapped close to her stall. She was trapped, but she didn't know what else to do besides listen. Maybe she could learn something new. Maybe she could learn something. She hadn't really thought that Grace could be involved with the artifact switching, but now she was having second thoughts. What was she talking about? "Do you think we still can?" Grace said. "But what about Doc? He might find out." There was a pause. "Okay, well, if you think so, I had to bring the kids over to the settlement museum, but I think I can get away without them noticing." She paused again. "Okay, I'll meet you at the glass house in 10 minutes, but make sure you're not followed." Caitlin's cell phone suddenly buzzed in the pocket of her shorts. She gasped, not able to reach for it from her perch in the stall. Her hands were both full, and if she moved, Grace would hear her. She closed her eyes and hoped it didn't buzz again. She wondered if Grace had heard it from the other side of the bathroom. The buzzing stopped, but now it was silent in the bathroom. Grace had stopped talking. Caitlin heard footsteps coming her way. Then the sound of a stall door opening. Grace was checking the stalls. Caitlin tried to remember how many stalls were in the bathroom. 3, she thought, but she couldn't be sure. The footsteps stopped outside her stall. Grace pushed on the door, but it was locked. Caitlin's heart was beating so loud, she was sure Grace could hear it too. A shadow formed under the door as Grace bent down to look for feet. The bottom of the sash hung down from the costume pile, and Caitlin pulled it up higher so nothing could be seen. She didn't dare to breathe. Finally, Grace's footsteps walked away from the stall. Caitlin heard the door to the bathroom open and close. She sat frozen for another minute just to make sure Grace hadn't pretended to leave or suddenly came back in, but all stayed quiet. When she was sure Grace was gone, she climbed down to the floor, careful not to fall into the toilet. She stretched her legs, which had nearly gone numb from sitting in such an awkward position for so long. She unlocked the stall door and slowly pushed it open, scanning the room. It was empty. She looked at herself in the mirror over the sink. Her face was pale, like she'd seen a ghost. She set the pile of clothes on the counter and pulled out her phone. It showed several texts from Sam. "Where are you? We're biking to Archarium to compare my picture to the vase. We left you a single bike. Meet us there." Caitlin frowned as she picked up her costume and walked to the door. She must have been hiding in the bathroom longer than she thought. Slowly, she stuck her head out and looked down the hallway. When the coast seemed clear, she scampered to Jada's office, set the clothes on the chair next to Sam and Derek's, and walked outside. She wished they hadn't left her. She needed to tell them about Grace. It was nice of them to leave with a single bike, although she couldn't quite imagine them working together on the tandem bike without wiping out. She kept an eye out for Grace, but she didn't feel as vulnerable now as she had in the bathroom, overhearing the phone conversation. She'd just play it cool if she ran into her out here. While she hadn't heard both sides of the conversation, it was pretty clear that Grace was plotting to meet someone. Was she handing over more stolen artifacts before the professor closed down field school? Caitlin had to hurry. She dialed Sam's number, but he didn't answer. "Emergency," she texted as she climbed onto the bicycle. "It's Grace. She's meeting someone at Glass House right now. I'm following her. Meet me there." Caitlin pushed her phone back into her shorts pocket. Just as a car passed on the other side of the parking lot, it was Grace. She was headed back to the island. Caitlin pushed down on the pedal, staying along the edge of the parking lot to stay out of view. She had to get to the Glass House before it was too late.